there are other reasons, and I'll name a few of them. The high operating costs, as we all know, the high power cost, 40% higher than Vietnam, for instance. The logistics cost, the even the labor cost, if you consider all the holidays. And this essentially was why we were requesting government to basically reconsider the incentives rationalization, because that would help offset these concerns. Because at the end of the day, the CEOs in their headquarters will look at the site or the country with the lowest operating cost. And so we're at a disadvantage there. Other reasons, the inconsistencies of government agency rulings. For example, this VAT on constructive exports and the unannounced field audits of BIR, which thank God have been suspended. We're also talking about, the effluent standards of DNR, the E-track ruling. The electronics, E-track is about electronic tracking of shipments. And I think it's appropriate in some areas, but for the electronics industry, in our 30 plus years of experience, we haven't had any experience of technical smuggling because we're primarily for exports. The examples were given for, with all due respect, garments and cigarettes and all that, but not for the electronics industry. So this would be, one company is incurring about 20 million pesos a month for this E-track cost, which we think are, not necessary and redundant. So anyway, this inconsistencies, the perceived corruption. We know that most countries have a level of corruption as well, but I think, the corruption that we're talking about hurts the industries. And thank God for ARTA. They've been playing a good role in terms of mitigating some of these concerns. And also DTI and DOS, they are partner agencies. The gap between the skills produced in our college graduates versus what the industry needs, that's also considered. So there's a slew of reasons. And one of the things that we hope to do in terms of recommendation for the incoming government, because certainly the industry supports the new administration and would like to work with them. And hopefully we can get a dialogue scheduled with the president, the cabinet, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. I understand Senator Miggs is now the new Senate president. Congratulations to him. But this dialogue essentially would entail or will result in clarifying our concerns and hopefully prevent more capital flight and attract investments, which we hope will happen. We'd like to discuss how we can harmonize policies, how we can possibly review, create, and specifically the incentives rationalization, as I mentioned, how to harmonize government policies, eliminating corruption perhaps, and promote the ease of doing business, automating government, simplifying and automating government policies, and of course, improving the education with the help of Vice President-elect Sara Duterte to basically improve the skills that's generated by the university's graduates.
If we want to attract investors, we have an entire barangay full of problems. But here's the question, Dan. Whose job is this? Because I would tend to think that you, being associated with the private sector, would primarily go, hey, this is the ideal, this is what would be nice. But at the end of the day, not my problem, not my concern. I'm going to go run my company or deal with my clients. So then who's responsible for this?
That's a good question, Sito. By the way, before I answer that, just wanted to add that this articles that you published, basically I've been receiving some negative comments saying, give it up and just work with the administration. That's what we're actually trying to do. I mean, if the government doesn't know what the concerns of these multinationals are, you're just going to see not only capital flight, but also no more investments. On one hand, we pride ourselves in comparing 2021 FDIs compared to 2020. And that's well and good. It's 50% higher, thereabouts. But what we need to compare ourselves with is the absolute investments in the Philippines compared to the rest of ASEAN, like Vietnam, which is like 2 times our investments, like Thailand, 1.5 times. And that's what our role is at SEIPI and for the industry, right? On one hand, the multinationals will decide what's good for their companies. Our role really, and we've always been working with government, and it's really a partnership. We can't just cry wolf and just blame everything. We have to do our part in articulating our concerns to the government and work with them to alleviate these concerns, mitigate these concerns, so that the end effect really, it's for the good of the country. It's for the good of the economy to attract the investments and generate employment. It's going to be good for the country. So we need to work with government, and hopefully, we're able to schedule this dialogues that we're hoping to do. I think the first order of business is helping the government, helping the president understand the electronics industry. Because once they do, then everything else falls into place. Seeing how we can reduce operating costs, seeing what we can do to enhance the incentives package, which will balance, the high operating costs. I think the first approach we want to take is, and this is a, perpetuous time to educate the government, because honestly, to be honest with you, with the former president, I don't think, DTI and DOST understand, but I don't think the president himself understood the electronics industry.